All right, we've covered an expanding hollow point. We've covered bullets window performance. So how does that all relate to you? Well, let's look at some specific examples. Let's say you live in an area like the South, like we do. Panteao Productions is here, based out of South Carolina. We have some cold, we have mostly hot. So the clothing that we're going to be dealing with will be single, maybe 2, maximum maybe 3 layers of clothing. So what I would want to do is determine what is my carry gun first. If it happens to be a officer's size 1911, I happen to have a 3.5-inch barrel for length. Well, that 45 ACP cartridge out of that 3.5-inch barrel is going to be going slower than it normally would out of a 5-inch government model. So that particular load that I may be using, that I may have read about in the magazines that worked really good out of a 5-inch barrel, does it work that well out of my 3.5-inch barrel? It's not going as fast. Back to bullets window performance. Now, we're in the South. We're going to be engaging a few layers of clothing. What would I do? I would get gelatin by either reaching out to a company like Kinda Knox, getting 10% gelatin and mixing it myself, or there's companies where you can go and buy pre-made synthetic gelatin that you order it, the block comes in the mail, you take it out of the box, you set it up, and you shoot it. And then you see how your round performs in that gelatin. Now, gelatin isn't cheap. You know, I've been shooting gelatin for years, and I lost track how many hundreds of pounds I've mixed and remixed and reconstituted and shot. But remember, as a person that's carrying a firearm for self-defense, that ammunition is critical in how it's going to perform. So in my humble opinion, it is worth the extra step of not just buying that ammunition, buying ordnance gelatin, either by the powder or getting the synthetic gelatin already pre-manufactured, and testing that ammunition. Because imagine this, back to what I carry. Officer size 1911, 3.5-inch barrel, 45 ACP. Let's say I happen to be carrying a 185 grain jacketed hollow point plus P load. Nominal velocity 1150 feet per second out of a 5-inch gun. Let's say it's only doing 900 feet per second out of my 3.5-inch gun. Well, that should be fine. But what happens if I take a block of gelatin and put 3 layers of maybe cotton on it, engage it, and find that the bullet didn't expand? Or find that the bullet over-penetrated, went through 3 blocks of gelatin and the tree next door. I mean, I'm trying to be funny here, but at the same time, what is that projectile doing? If the bullet goes within a certain depth of penetration, we'll get to that next, well then I know that particular duty load, that particular carry load out of my particular firearm is going to work in my environment. Now at that point in time, if I have enough gelatin, I may go ahead and layer up some more. I may put some leather in front of it, some scraps of leather. Don't take your wife's purse and go and shoot that. She'll get very pissed. But go to a shop where you can find an old leather jacket and get or old leather purse. Cut it into pieces, little 5 by 5-inch squares. Put that in front of the gelatin. Get some denim. Get some cotton. Vary up the layers. See what people wear around you. Replicate that. I would then take it to that step. So I would shoot a summer load or a summer barrier for the gelatin, and I'd put a winter barrier for that gelatin, and I'd shoot that same load through it, and I'd see what was the depth of penetration. Did the bullet expand? Was the barrier an issue? Was it a non-issue? All this may be a non-issue. Then you're in good shape. Then all you have to focus on is trigger time at the range and learning how to shoot that gun really well and putting those rounds where they're meant to go. But first things first, before you spend a lot of money on that carry ammunition, you already spent money on practice ammunition. You need to select what is your defensive ammunition. So in selecting your defensive ammunition, spend that money, get some gelatin, shoot it with your particular firearm through the barriers by which you think in your environment that projectile is going to engage, and see what that bullet does. You may find that you're in good shape. You may find that you're screwed and you need a different load.